Thank you very much for staying with us. And if you've just arrived, welcome. There's still a bit of meat on the bone, as it were, because we want to move in now to, the APC chairmanship vacancy. A substantive chairman is going to have to be chosen. We have an interim chairman in place. And so this battle is reported to be heating up. Well, our guest this time is Benue APC chieftain and a political affairs analyst. Mr. Daniel Onje. Good morning, Mr. Onje.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure, our pleasure. Good morning. Well, this battle, what? First of all, when it is expected that it is at the July, the fourth week of July, when the NEC meeting is scheduled. The 24th of July.
Yes.
That's when a new chairman will actually emerge.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Please continue.
Okay. Like we all know, His Excellency Abdullahi Ganduje has been, or rather, he resigned, and then there's a vacuum. Even though an interim chairman has been appointed.
So there's no vacuum. I think APC was careful to make sure that there was no vacuum. The very, very day he resigned, I think you people actually found a replacement in an interim capacity.
Someone to oversee the affairs.
That's right.
Of the party, until a substantive chairman is either elected or appointed.
Okay. So who now? Who are the contenders? The way you see it, I don't know how much the extent to which you are privy to what's going on, but I imagine that a lot will want to be kept under wraps. But from the fact that you are an APC chieftain yourself, maybe talk to me a bit about who are possible candidates. It doesn't mean that they've actually intended or stated that they will be joining, they will be throwing their hat in the ring, but who are the likely, quote-unquote, culprits?
Well, I'm glad you have an in-depth knowledge of the workings of the political party, so you are careful enough with your words not to ask directly who are the contenders. Well, if we're headed for national convention, perhaps you'll have seen posters and banners flooding all over the places. But now, because the National Executive Committee of the party will be meeting to appoint and ratify the new chairman of the party or substantive chairman of the party. That decision is left solely within or at the prerogative of the leadership of the party. So now I can only talk about those who indicated interest and were in the forefront contesting for the position at the last convention.
Okay, that's a good enough.
Which, of course, we know them. We had three major contenders at the time. We had Senator Adamu Abdullahi from Nasarawa State. And then we also had Senator George Akume, who is now the SGF. We had Senator Tanko Almakura, who also was in the race. And you can see of the three top contenders at the time, two have been meaningfully and effectively engaged by the political system, particularly under the APC administration. Senator George Akume has been adequately compensated with the position of the SGF and is of the ACN stock. Of course, you know that there were three major legacy parties that merged together to form the APC in 2014.
Yes.
And then also, we have Abdullah Adamu, who was appointed as a consensus candidate for the chairmanship of the All Progressives Congress. So he also had been compensated. And Abdullah Adamu, of course, is of the PDP stock. Now we have only one person left of the three top contenders, which is Tanko Almakura. So far, this is what I can tell you. And I believe in the interest of justice, equity, and political balance, someone from those who have contested before that has not been adequately compensated should be given the opportunity, because positions should be occupied by those who aspire to occupy. Because definitely if somebody aspires to occupy the position, he will have had his own dreams for the organization on how to put the organization together, primarily or fundamentally from the basics of political science. We know that political parties are formed for the sole aim of, in a harsher tone in political science, because I'm a student of political science, it is said that they are formed to capture power. But who wouldn't want to sound like dictatorial in our tone? So I will be polite enough to say to wrestle power or to win elections. So that is the focus. It means those who aspire to be chairman of the party know exactly what their task is: to consolidate on the unity and cohesion of the party and project them properly to win elections. Now we have elections coming up. Aside of circle elections, we have major elections coming up in 2027. And of course, the party will need to put its act together to go into another victory in 2027. So we need somebody with the requisite capacity to lead the party into victory in 2027.
Indeed. Well, thank you very much for that answer, because the way you explained it, these three contenders, two of whom have actually been, if the compensated is the word, have been adequately compensated. But then there's Tanko Almakura, and we haven't heard from him one way or the other. So we're just mentioning his name almost in a sort of statistical manner, not unless you know better, not that he has indicated any particular interest. But again, the way these things go, the makers within APC probably already know who they are putting their money on in a figurative way. They probably know who they're going to bet on, and once that is what is coming from the leadership, I guess it is known that is the way it's going to go. But you are not about to tell me now that you've gotten any kind of a hint or indication from the leadership of the party that, look, when the time comes, this is our candidate. That much hasn't been allowed yet. People are being tight-lipped within the party.
I am not a member of the APC NEC, and maybe someday. I'm not a member of the APC NEC, so I wouldn't know the extent of consultation that has taken place. But one thing I can tell you that you've not heard from Tanko Almakura, or he hasn't said anything. For everyone who knows him, he's such a very, very gentle and humble man. He's also a very, very loyal party man. He believes in the supremacy of the party, knowing fully well that this is not a national convention that he will aspire. The decision will lie solely in the hands of the neck of the party. As such, the only thing he can do is probably hope that he will be considered, have an indicated interest, campaign vigorously, went travel across the nation on consultation with stakeholders.
Yes.
For the position of the chairmanship. I think, like I mentioned earlier, it will only be in the interests of justice, fairness, and political balance to consider him the chairman of the party.
All right,
because
then.
I'm inherently an activist and I abhor anything injustice. I mean, we're aware that there are people who wanted to be or hope to be ministers in the cabinet of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that eventually the Senate turned down and got disgruntled and left the party. And several other people in that ilk that have not even received or have been appointed, like my humble self here, as a senatorial candidate of the Benue South. I've seen where PDP stalwart who demonized the Muslim tickets are federal commissioners today.
Yeah.
They are all, we have more than 3 of them that have gotten federal appointments.
Okay.
But yet a senatorial candidate who bought form for that exorbitant price of 20 million, campaign for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
And they haven't been settled yet.
But I'm still with the party. In the same way, Tanko Almakura has kept faith with the party. At some point, he was the only governor-elect of the Congress for Progressive Change, the CPC. And he remained with the party, inspired entreaties and other offers.
I hear what you're saying.
PDP had sway in this country.
Okay. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we're fast running out of time. And Mazi Okorafor is on the line. He wants to join the program. Good morning to you, Mazi. Sorry for keeping you waiting.
Good morning, Sir Yori. No problem, Sir Yori. What as the chairmanship, the party needs somebody who is generally acceptable by the 36 states, so the whole world. A technocrat, somebody that is who can absorb both the shock absorber, positive and negatively. And we should do the needful. Not central states, it is their turn. The chairmanship belongs to them. They still their turn. But the party should stick to their. We have seen what is happening in other parties. The earlier the APC sit down and look for the strong person that is when he talks, it sounds like the sweat, and they follow. Not a question of God when it's just taken. We pray that the new coming chairman will be very acceptable and
Indeed.
do the needful.
All right, then.
To the zone where the party belongs, where the chairman is supposed to put, not central. Good morning, Mazi Okorafor. Have a blessed, fruitful day in Lagos.
Thank you very much, Mazi Okorafor. Well, you see, we're going to have to leave it here. And you've been quite helpful, quite frankly. If I were to look at it, you've been quite helpful, answering the questions to just give us some better kind of an idea without giving away too much, because as you said, as of today, you're not a member of the neck of the party, but you really have tried to help us understand what might be logic from the outside. Only God knows what the elders and the formers of the party consider logic. But I want to thank you very much for coming on. Really appreciate your coming on the program, Mr. Daniel Onje. Upon the occasion of, it's just hotting up, but at least we now know names to look out for and see if our predictions were right at the time or not. Thank you very much for coming on the program.